because we're not too sure about the size of the pan and how much wax it will hold. We're going to split it all in half, if at all possible. This is going to take some banging. Again. This cleaver is normally used for splitting spruce when you're making acoustic guitar braces. Well, it's rather blunter than one would think. Okay, we've got the exact right amount of wax here in comparison. It is 20% beeswax to 80% paraffin wax, and to start with we're going to mix half and half and see what happens. Okay. And that, my friends, will do nicely. Half and half. Lovely paraffin wax pellets here. And that is going to slowly melt down. In 10 minutes, if I put my fingers in there, I will be... Yes, that's a game I don't want to play. Now, as you can see, the main pot, which is getting a little bit warm, is suspended in the hot water. You obviously don't want the wax to be directly on the hob or the heat source, whatever you happen to be using. A Bunsen burner, that would be cool. Anyway, half of the wax is in there and is melting away, and it's looking like the air bubbles in the paraffin wax have made me overestimate how much was in there. So we are going to put the rest in, which will give us enough depth to dip our pickups properly. Lots of people like playing with hot wax. We get more than an orgasm out of it though. We get a properly potted pickup. We do that with a bit of distortion on. Spot on. I think that sort of... Now our wax is melted down, and the temperature is currently at too much. It is at about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. It is supposed to be 150, so I've turned everything down and we're going from there. Now, most people will now rig up some sort of a hanging system to hang your pickups from, to suspend them in the wax so that the pickup itself is not sitting on the bottom of the pot, which is obviously going to be hotter than the surrounding wax. The last thing you want to do is try and fix a pickup and then break the bugger. However, PRS, who are good for some things, like relicking, again, I'm sorry for that last video. If you haven't watched it and you like, what's the term, violent guitar porn, that's the video for you. If you don't watch it. Anyway, I digress. PRS, instead of suspending the pickups in mid-air, they drop marbles in the bottom of their pot, and the pickup sits on the marble and is not in direct contact with the metal, and it works very well. I'm not using marbles, I'm using clean pebbles, which in my mind will actually work better than glass, because they transmit less heat. I'm doing my damnedest not to splash myself with 160 degree currently wax. That sort of thing doesn't really do it for me. Oh, it's stuck. Doesn't want to go. Get in there. Alrighty then. The wax has gone down a little bit in temperature. If your wax starts smoking, bearing in mind that this is paraffin and the fumes of the paraffin wax are flammable as hell, you want to be doing this with doors and windows open, extractors going, etc. Just to be careful. But yes, if the wax is smoking, it is too hot, and if it's solid, it's too cold. Elementary. Anyway, here is the pickup that we're doing. The reason this needs potting is because I've messed around with it and put a custom cover on, etc. So unfortunately, when I got the guitar strung up, it decided not to work. Again, I don't particularly want to drop anything in the wax, so I'm going to very gently nearly drop it in the wax. Oh, there we go, sitting on the pedals, and my pliers are stuck together. Pickup number one. Oh, and you can see bubbles coming up. That is air being driven out of the pickup. That was slightly more elegantly done that time, thank you very much. So the bubbles are air being expelled. The other pickups are a slightly customized set that have nickel silver covers on, and these, we don't quite know what the pickups themselves are, but they sound very good apart from the squealing. Oh, that's quite pretty. That was a rather attractive effect there. As the metal got hot and cold. The cold metal got hot and... I'm going to stop talking. How's about that? There we go. Same again. So, here we go. The bubbles are bubbling. Technically, well, according to all the manuals, once the bubbles stop, that is... well, that was a big one. Once the bubbles stop, your pickups are potted. Either that or wait 15 or 20 minutes. We are going to wait 15 or 20 minutes, and halfway through we're going to pick the pickups up and sort of tap them around a little bit on the stones to get rid of any excess air bubbles in there. Incidentally, that's the reason for using the paraffin as well as the beeswax. Beeswax is nice and solid, and the paraffin is nice and penetrating. So the paraffin wax gets right in there, and the beeswax helps keep it nice and stable once it is in there. So there we go. Once again, the temperature that you want your melted wax to be when you put the pickups in is 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which is somewhere around 60-65 degrees C, I'd say. Looking at that, I've never been one for maths, especially not on the spot. And the pickups are in for 15 to 20 minutes or until the bubbles stop. And the ratio is 20% beeswax to 80% good clean white paraffin wax. Other people have used lacquer. Fender used lacquer to pot their pickups. Gibson tended not to pot their pickups in the slightest, which is rather interesting. And obviously a lot of mass-produced pickups these days are potted in epoxy. Epoxy is great, but the problem with that is you can't repair it if it doesn't go right. Whereas with wax you obviously can. Alright, it has been 20 minutes now. Obviously I bumped them around a little bit to get rid of any excess bubbles that were still living the life of trapped air inside a pickup. And now take the pickups out. So here we have a couple of pickups that have been potted, and quite frankly there is no reason on earth why you shouldn't be able to do this yourself at home, as long as you take absolute care not to let the fumes build up too much and look after yourself. And there we have it. Thanks for watching. This has been Ben Crow with Crimson Guitars, redefining the custom guitar. Bye.